Welcome to EDU 324 International Dimensions. This will investigate to what extent do low-cost private schools support the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 4, Quality Education in Ghana. What does the presentation include? The background of Ghana and their current state of education, the impact of globalization, the targets of Sustainable Development Goal 4, the role of low-cost private schools in the Human Rights Act, and the benefit and challenges of low-cost private schools. The background of Ghana and their current state of education. Ghana is located in West Africa and has a population of 25.5 million people. In Ghana, they speak English and African languages, including Akan and Anu. English is their mother tongue language, and this is the official language for admin and commerce in Ghana. Ghana is considered to be one of the most stable countries in West Africa, and according to the World Bank, Ghana's GDP per capita was $2,202.12 in 2019. Elementary education begins at age 6 and is free of charge. However, the public schools do charge for certain things the students will need. The fees are only 21% lower than they are in private schools. Therefore, this suggests even state schools are not completely free due to their indirect payments. Furthermore, 87% of primary age students was enrolled in school in 2019, suggesting that most of Ghana's students do attend school, with 49% of them being female. So what is globalization? Globalization is the general increase of the worldwide integration of economics, culture, politics, and social systems in the flows of goods, labor, and international services between countries. Global education is part of globalization and is about preparing young people for the different life experiences in the new developing world, according to Peterson and Warwick in 2014. It is about teaching knowledge and skills as well as the environmental methods of learning, which is connecting learning ideas from around the world. Colby in 2004 states that globalization can have an impact on schools in an economic, political, and cultural way. For example, it's clear that English has become the dominant language across the world. This could be because English is the dominant language on the internet, in the media, and in the global trade. It was made clear in the Schooling of the World documentary that children who travel to government state schools must speak English, and if they do not, then they will be punished. Looking at low-cost private schools, they take a neoliberal approach. Tooley in 2004 states that low-cost private schools go with the grain and see gaps in markets. By Tooley seeing it as the parent's choice to decide on their child's education, he did not want to waste time and miss a business opportunity. At the same time, he noticed that state schools were taking their time in providing quality education, and he knew that low-cost private schools could do this straight away. Furthermore, he knew if he did this, he could educate and prepare students for their futures, and Robertson et al. In 2017 stated that Tooley knew this is exactly what the low-income countries needed. So the quality of education and Sustainable Development Goal 4. Worldwide schools state that the quality of education is important to ensure individuals have the abilities to think critically, solve problems, and be able to make informed decisions about themselves and for their communities. This is important for children and young adults to learn these skills, as they can learn to connect with other global issues such as trying to reduce poverty. The UN have been working towards achieving quality education for all. During the last 10 years, significant progress has been made when trying to increase the number of children in school and the quality of education they should be receiving. This Sustainable Development Goal is about trying to help children and adolescents to meet the proficiency standards in reading and maths. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been a slight pause in the work from the UN due to the temporary closures of schools. Remote learning was promoted during the pandemic to try and provide quality education for the 91% of students who were affected. However, at least 500 million children remained out of reach of this. In particular, remote learning cannot work in some developing countries, particularly in rural areas, due to their internet connection. Akapu in 2008 stated that most of Ghana's internet providers are in the capital city and some are dotted around the country. Therefore, this could cause issues for people who live in these remote areas without internet access. So, low-cost private schools and the Human Rights Act. Low-cost private schools are privately owned schools that are managed by a local proprietor. They are dependent on development costs and carry out a bottom-up approach to follow neoliberalism to attract and retain students. The low-cost private schools offer low fees, and in Ghana it is around 10% of the total family income. Therefore, this contradicts the UN Human Rights Act. Article 26 states that everyone has a right to receive a free education, at least at elementary level, as this should be compulsory to everyone regardless of their gender, class, ethnicity, and religion. Finally, parents have the rights to choose what education their children should receive. and links are made with low-cost private schools, as Tully states they are high-quality schools which meet the parents' demands and are working with communities in Ghana to meet the children and parents' needs. The targets of Sustainable Development Goal 4 and how low-cost private schools are meeting them. The first target is for the UN to try and ensure that by 2030, all girls and boys complete a free, equitable and quality education. Tully in 2009 found that low-cost private schools do provide equitable and quality education for all. The number of boys and girls in private schools are equal, and this suggests that low-cost private schools are meeting the Sustainable Development Goal 4 as they are educating both boys and girls. However, they do not fully meet this target, as the UN states that education should be free, but the low-cost private schools charge a low daily fee. Furthermore, state schools are not meeting this demand either, due to their indirect payments. A second target is to build and upgrade the low-cost private schools' education facilities to allow effective learning to take place. The government in 2013 was working with the low-cost private schools to deliver quality education and to build better infrastructures. Furthermore, it's been set out that this is where the financial support should go to ensure that children are learning in a safe environment. The final target is for schools to have an increase of qualified teachers. However, Tully in 2013 stated that low-cost private schools in Ghana are largely run by unqualified teachers, so the schools may not be providing the best quality of education due to this factor. However, it is impossible to see how well private schools and state schools are doing now and if they are meeting these current targets due to the gaps within the literature. The benefits and challenges of low-cost private schools. The first benefit that Tully identifies is that private schools are located in the poorest of slums and can outperform state schools. This shows that even the poor do not attend state schools due to their low quality. This suggests why most families in Ghana are willing to pay the fee. Furthermore, INFNO in 2015 stated low-cost private schools have students from all backgrounds, and when they are communicating and learning, it can drive high academic motivations between the students. This allows ideas to be shared and extended without the most highly qualified teachers, as it was found that maybe not all low-cost private schools have them. Furthermore, they are likely to provide the high quality of education due to the parents and the agreements that they have if high quality education is not provided. The Amiga schools were set up in 2008 by Tully to provide quality education in rural areas. The University of Birmingham in 2014 carried out a study to look at the role and the impact of private schools in developing countries. The first factor investigated was the quality of education. On page 43, they found that the strength of the quality of education was moderate in private schools, and that pupils received better learning achievements in private schools than they do in state schools. Ghana was on a neutral aspect, which states that the findings were ambiguous in relation to the assumption. This suggests that maybe the quality of education is not always the best due to the underqualified teachers. However, ActionAid in 2017 did find there are still more private schools than state schools in Ghana, with a ratio of 1,317 to 800 state schools. Parents are sending their children to private schools due to the stigma that state schools get due to the creation of inequality. This suggests that the parents are wanting the best for their child, so they are willing to pay due to the flexibility and of how appealing low-cost private schools are to both students and parents. This is because they are meeting the different factors and are welcoming the families without stigma. A challenge that comes with low-cost private schools is the affordance of fees. The Amiga schools charge around 75 US cents a day, and apparently the fee is equivalent to what state schools ask for. Agiri in 2014 and Rose in 2009 suggest for poor families to be able to afford the fees, they take out loans from family and friends, and even start to use the money of what they would use for their basic needs. This shows how families are willing to stop eating or limit what they can eat so they can pay for their children's education. Therefore, their basic needs are being neglected to afford private education. Furthermore, Brian in 2020 states that if parents do not pay their fees, then their children are expelled until they are paid. This explains why parents will be willing to give up their basic necessities to allow their children to stay in school. However, this is not how families should be living, and this is going against Sustainable Development Goal 2 of Zero Hunger. So not only are private schools going against Sustainable Development Goal 2, it does not meet the first target of Sustainable Development Goal 4 of all education being free. Overall, the findings would suggest that to an extent low-cost private schools do support the achievements and would reach the targets of Sustainable Development Goal 4, as they provide quality education to both boys and girls. Additionally, low-cost private schools provide a safe infrastructure for students even in the poorest of areas. However, there are reasons as to why low-cost private schools are not meeting the Sustainable Development Goal targets. They do not provide free education as they charge a low daily fee for all students, and this is how we can see why low-cost private schools do not fully support the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 4. To close this presentation, I believe low-cost private schools will be able to meet the children's needs straight away after the pandemic due to them working with their local communities and not having to wait for the government to go ahead. I believe in the future low-cost private schools should keep the flexible aspect as it is working towards all the development targets for quality education. However, I would suggest they consider looking at reducing the fees of the schools as they are not providing the best quality of education they could be for the fee.